All right. Did you pray on your knees this week?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Okay. Yeah, I probably shouldn't do this.
Are you just testing?
No. I'm like actually. So did you pray on your knees this week?
Yeah, I did.
Every day?
I actually did.
That's really good. I did not. Unfortunately. I did like 4 out of the 7 days, but I didn't do every day. Anyways, what's going on, guys? I'm Armando,
And I'm Jacob,
and we are
the Gospel Guys.
Today on this episode, it's going to be a little bit more of a break. We're taking a little step aside from the series and just having more of a chill episode. We want to call this segment of our channel Kingdom in the Chaos. You know, living our everyday lives, it's so chaotic, literally, you know, and we just struggle with things every day. Aside from what we talk about on our normal series episodes, you know, whether you believe it or not, every day is literally a struggle. It's chaos.
Yeah.
And so our thing with this is, how do we bring the kingdom into that chaos? So, Jacob, what do you think that looks like, bringing kingdom into the chaos?
Yeah, I think, honestly, it's probably how you live your everyday life, honestly. I know just from the moment you wake up, man, honestly, that's like the very moment that you should already represent Christ.
Right.
I mean, you still got to represent Christ even when no one's looking.
Exactly.
And that's why I like you. It's good to have like a routine with God, honestly, like right when you wake up, because, I mean, that's how it all starts, bro. I feel like ever since I've had a good routine with God lately, it's just been honestly amazing.
Yeah.
And I have to apply that once I go to work. Like if I'm just doing like actual workday schedule, you know, I work at 3 p.m., but I wake up, you know, I have my quiet time, I'll pray, and then I'll just do whatever I got to do. And then once it gets to work, I think that's when it gets to I need to be
the chaos.
I need to be in the chaos now.
Yeah.
I think honestly at that point I have to always remind myself, like, there will be times when I mess up with jokes.
Yeah.
Or
for sure.
I'll kind of like go along with some of the jokes. I'm like, all right, you gotta chill. And I think I've really learned a lot from that, because it's a big temptation over there.
Yeah.
They talk crazy over there.
Dude,
but
absolutely.
honestly, it's been a good test for me.
Yeah.
I feel like God has really been helping me like fortify me to be a stronger disciple at work, because I'm in the chaos and definitely at work. And
for sure.
honestly, I feel I've been doing really good at that. So what about you?
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same boat. You know, at least in my job, it's a very male-dominated job. So, like, when there's, like, for example, if a girl comes around, everybody goes crazy. You know, I think it's so easy to, like, fall into that and make jokes with them, or even just look, you know. But, yeah, I think that being in a male-oriented job, it's crazy because, like, there's almost, like, at least the way I feel about it, like, there's no filter when it's just guys around. You know, I think maybe it could be the same thing for girls. Like, there are things that maybe girls just talk about. There are a lot of things that guys just talk about. You know, so even like you, it's really easy to just fall into jokes, fall into temptation, cussing, you know, just saying things, you know, you shouldn't be saying. Or like laughing at things that, yeah, they might be funny, but like, should I really be laughing at this? You know, so I think I'm kind of the same way. Like, I pray every morning when I go to work. It's about a 10-minute drive. So I pray the entire time. As soon as I leave my driveway to the minute I get into the parking lot, I pray. And, same thing. I feel like pretty at peace when I get there, and then like once I walk in, chaos. You know, absolutely. Not to mention just the work environment as it is, like the stress, what we're doing, because it's very physical labor. But even then, like when you work a physically laborious job, like I think it's so easy to just like your body literally gets weak.
Yeah.
You know, at least in my case too, where like I have to think about a lot of stuff, like because I have to route cables, and it's a lot of physical and mental exertion that I'm doing with my body, my mind. You know, it's so easy to just be weak.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like when you're mentally tired, I think it's worse than being physically tired, because that's where the enemy can really just start to pick at your brain and just throw things at you. Like, this boy's already tired. Like, let me throw some stuff his way. So he kind of falls into temptation. You know, so I think that's just a super easy thing to just fall into when, you know, looking at it the right way. But yeah, to kind of get into this, what does having faith every day look like? Like, what does that mean for you?
I think it's just what I said. Having faith, I honestly feel like every day. I mean, a new day at work, man. I always pray for just God to protect, like put His hand over the next day. But I gotta have faith that I know He will.
Yeah.
You know. But honestly, applying faith every day, it's different from just like living, like try to be the best example. But I think actually putting faith into your everyday life,
It's really hard.
Yeah, it's honestly just really trusting God in every moment. I mean, even there's moments where it's like a little, like a downhill during like your day,
Yeah.
and you're already like discouraged by it. But you gotta just know that God is already He's faithful to you. You know, like, and you know that you gotta have faith in Him and trust in Him that everything will be taken care of. There's things not need to worry about. I know for me at work, I see a lot of like other people get like really stressed out, and it really affects them, bro. Like
Yeah.
you can see I know the way they are when they're not stressed.
The
and
look
they're-
on their face is just wild.
yeah, and they're just like really stressed out. But
Yeah.
I've always told myself that I know God is always gonna have the best interest for me, and yeah, and I know that when things like that do happen, or when it's like a really high intense moment at work, I don't let it stress me out, bro. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, I know God's protecting me. I know God's with me.
Mhm.
So I just kind of have that mindset. And I feel like I'm like, all right, it's all right, bro. Hey, it's
Yeah.
just another day.
It's another day.
It's just another
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, I think that's something I kind of struggle with too. Like, I think, especially with my anxiety, like literally just taking everything day by day, it can be really difficult for me to like just put faith in every situation that I
Yeah.
face. You know, not only with like work, but my marriage. You know, literally putting faith in my faith. If that makes sense. You know, like I think lately a lot of like what I could do, unfortunately, was like I start to doubt stuff. You know, so like I've said before, my whole anxiety revolves around my health. You know, and so my thing is like, man, like what if I'm really not okay?
Yeah.
You know, but even the Bible says to not worry about tomorrow because tomorrow will worry about itself, right? And so that's what I try to kind of focus on, you know, is like putting faith just into my day to start with. Like if I wake up thinking, man, like something bad's gonna happen today, it's a lot easier said than done, but like don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, whatever's in God's plan is gonna happen according to God's plan.
Exactly.
And I think that's a super difficult thing for people to just comprehend because people want to be in control all the time.
Yeah.
Right. You literally want to control your destiny, your life, your decisions, which in theory, yeah, you can because God gives us free will, but like everything is according to God's plan.
Oh yeah.
Everything. And so I think that's something for me where like I said, just starting my day with some faith. I think that's what it looks like for me, you know, because I think that it's really hard just putting faith into everything, you know, like when you first started dating your girl, like, did you have a lot of faith in that? Did you put all your faith into that relationship? When you took the job you have now, the position, did you put all your faith into that position?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good though, because you know, because like a lot of people probably don't. Like I think a lot of us, like I think everything's a risk, you know, but that's how we see it. It's a risk.
Yeah.
It's not like okay, like I'm gonna do this and put my faith in it, faith that it'll work out, faith that it will go according to God's plan, not my plan, but God's plan.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's like I said, just something really hard for people to do because we want to be in control. You know, it's really difficult for us to just fathom that even though they are our decisions, it's all God's will.
Yeah.
You know, at least that's what I think.
That's a really good point. I'm thinking about that. I'm like, wow, like I think when I got my job, it was definitely I was scared to do that because it was like a whole new shift. You know,
Yeah.
I've always worked mornings, so going to night shift, I didn't know any of these people,
Yeah.
and I'm supposed to lead these people. I'm just like, I don't know.
I give you props for doing that, dude. Because even for me, like the last like couple of jobs I've had, I've always worked from like 4 or 5 a.m. to like whenever.
Yeah.
But like working night shifts, I'm like, dude, I'm already tired by like 8 o'clock, bro. You
Yeah,
know what I
man.
mean? Like so
That's
yeah,
how I used to be. Honestly,
Yeah.
I used to be tired like around 8, and then now, bro,
it's the
I'm getting
opposite.
tired at 3 a.m. now.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I know.
Oh, sorry, guys. I forgot to open my Liquid Death. Do some ASMR.
Sponsored liquid. No, I'm just
Sponsored.
playing.
Man, let's do some ASMR.
I'm
real
actually
quick.
hold on. Let me get mine real quick. 3. Oh, not right.
As soon as you said 3.
Sponsors. The
you
gospel
want.
we got. No, I'm just kidding.
Gospel guys. Collab with Liquid Death. No, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
No, I was saying, man, yeah. Dude, truly, yeah. That took a lot of faith in that moment.
Yeah.
Or I was even thinking of not taking it.
Yeah.
But it's been such a huge blessing taking it, and it's helped me a lot financially and being able to. I feel like I got more closer to God since going to Nights.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I feel like it was just all God's plan.
I think that's really good you say that because I feel like you're so much more tempted at night
Yeah,
just by the stuff in general. So I think that by you saying that, that's really cool. I'm proud
and
of you
your
for
bank
that.
account.
And your bank account.
Because
bro.
when you work in mornings, it's like you have all the free time to go out to eat
Spend
at
money
night.
and-
But
yeah.
bro, I'm kind of
tired.
caged
No,
in.
bro.
And then what am I
Yeah.
gonna do at 1 a.m., bro? I'm just gonna,
Yeah, exactly. Let's go to IHOP. Denny's.
yeah, no, never mind.
No, I'm kind of in the same boat too with that. Like, I'm gonna get promoted on Monday in a couple days from now.
Oh wow.
So it's a little bit of a pay raise, but this past week has kind of been like my training to be a lead. And so just putting my faith in that, putting my faith to like not only be a good example like at work, but like just trying to put God into that position. Like, okay, like, yeah, I have a new role. I have to be a little bit more in charge, telling people what to do. And I think a big thing for me is like, I'm very, I don't want to say assertive, but I think this way I can say things sometimes can come off the wrong way. So I've been praying about that. I'm like, hey, God, just be with me. Like, if I need to tell somebody what to do, if I need to be a little rough, like, help me to say it in a loving way,
And that's the thing too, because people are just like that. People just take everything to offense sometimes. And there's actually somebody in my group right now where she's like, I don't want to say sensitive, but like she's not very liked. And so I have to work with her. I'm okay, let me just be patient with her, help me love her, and like just be a good example.
Dude.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I think, yeah. I mean, it's going to be a learning curve because this will be kind of like I've kind of been in this role for a while, but like it's going to be official. And so I think, I have to put my faith in that,
Yeah.
No,
I couldn't stop smiling because literally yesterday, I got some feedback as a lead yesterday, and it was eye opening,
Sure.
And actually it starts with how do you respond to people, right?
Yeah.
Like as a lead, how are you gonna talk to people?
Yeah.
How are you gonna get them to get inspired and stuff
Yeah.
like that? And usually, for me, bro, when I first got the job, they gave me feedback that I just sounded too bold on the radio, and I was like, do I really?
Isn't that a good thing though?
Yeah,
Like,
I guess, but it kind of makes the associates feel like
You're undermining them.
yeah.
Sure,
So
sure.
it's like, all right, let me fix my tone. So I did that.
yeah.
But I guess, I just got feedback yesterday where I need to learn to not how do I say this, man? Without being, I just have to be better at speaking, honestly, to inspire
Yeah.
people. That's
Sure.
what I need to do. And what he told me, bro, because we have, so an RA2 is like regular position, RA4 is a lead. And he was like, honestly, bro, like this might sound harsh to you, but your work ethic's an RA4, but your mentality is still an RA2. And I was like,
Dang it.
but honestly, I had to really accept that, bro, and not get prideful.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I feel if I wasn't really so in tune with God lately, I probably would have gotten mad about that response
sure.
because I would have been prideful. So I'm very prideful. But I was shocked at myself of like, wow, like I'm just going to take that. I'm going to take it and I'm gonna run with it, So I thanked him for that feedback, But honestly, I know he's just trying to help me grow. But yeah, man, like having those conversations, it can kind of discourage you a little bit.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable, but I know I just have to have faith in God in those moments. And so when I talked to an associate after that conversation I had with my manager, it went really good. And I prayed before I did it. I was like, God, let me just have the right words, Lord. And that dude felt inspired, bro.
There you go.
And I was like, wow, look at God, man. Like,
Yeah. I think it's interesting to talk about leadership because it kind of reminded me of a time. So back when I was 17, 18, I took a mission trip to Alaska.
yeah.
And there was a very small amount of us that were there. But one of the guys that was there with me kind of expressed that he wanted to grow up and work into ministry and wanted to be a leader. Okay, cool. And I've always kind of seen myself as that, like, how do I say? Like, you know, in your friend group, that's the one older friend who just like knows everything and is wise, but like kind of stays behind the scenes. I feel like I've always kind of been that person. And so I remember when we were there, we were actually taking care of like special needs kids at a camp. And so the day before they came, he kind of like grouped us up and he was like, hey guys, you know what? Like, I'm scared, but we're going to do this and that. And like, not that there's anything wrong with being scared, but like him saying that kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. And I kind of pulled him aside and was like, hey dude, like I know you want to like be a leader and inspire us, but like I don't think you're inspiring anybody by saying you're scared. You know, it's like, imagine, I feel like I made a pretty good analogy. I told him, I was like, hey dude, imagine like you were a king and you're about to take your army to war. Are you going to tell your army that you're scared? He's like, huh, I haven't thought about it that way. I was like, yeah dude, like there's nothing wrong with you being scared, but like you're not going to inspire us by doing that. And so I think in the same way, we can apply that to our faith, you know, like if I see you doing something like you shouldn't be doing, or like I know that you're stumbling in your faith, I can express worry about you, but like I think it would be wrong for me to be like, hey man, like I'm scared. Like for me to be scared to tell you something like I shouldn't have. That's not me being a leader for you, you know, or vice versa. If I was doing something that you know I shouldn't be doing, you shouldn't be scared to say something to me.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's something wrong with us being scared about that. Like if you see your brother, your sister stumbling in their faith and like doing something they shouldn't be doing, have that boldness, you know, have that courageousness, that leadership to be like, hey, like I've noticed this. I don't know, come with a speech to inspire them. But I think going at it in fear, that's kind of what can hinder our faith also, because like if I don't know, like I feel like it's weird. If I tell you that I'm scared, how is that going to inspire you to like listen to what I have to say?
Yeah.
You know, but again, I think everybody's different. You know, maybe it doesn't affect you, but I think for me in that instance, again, it made me think about that time that you were talking about leadership, because, I don't know, just the way I see it. Like if we're trying to inspire people with faith, I think it'd be not wrong, but it's not inspiring to revolve your encouragement off fear.
Yeah.
You know, but anyways, kind of going back to our main points, dude, I feel like, you know, we're doing this because we want to reach out to people using social media. You know, I think that in this day and age, social media is such a huge platform. You can literally do just about anything with it. You know, and so that being said, do you think it affects your faith? Like why or why not?
Social media, huh?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest reasons why people don't come to Christ.
Sure.
Is things that they see in social media.
Yeah.
Definitely for me, bro. There's been so many times I went on like breaks from social media, but then I don't know, bro. I just feel I would get stuck. You know how? So one time, bro, I was on my phone. I went home from work. It was like 1 a.m. I'm on my phone, bro, and I realized it's 3.
Oh, sure.
I'm like,
wait a
wow,
minute.
I was just 2 hours on TikTok, Instagram.
Scrolling.
Right? And the next day I went to work. I'm like, okay, let me see how long these 2 are. And it felt long, bro. I'm just like, this is how long I was on my phone. And I'm doing actual stuff at work. And I got a lot done at work. And comparing to just 2 hours just, you know, doing that, I'm like, wow, bro, imagine how much work I can put in in my Bible.
Yeah.
On my quiet time.
It's kind of like we said last time, like when we were talking about how like I used to play guitar 5 hours a day, or like even now if I go home and play the game for like 2 or 3 hours, like So now what I try to do, it's funny we say that, like if I play Call of Duty, like if I finish a match, I'll try to read like a verse real quick. You know, instead of like modding my gun or whatever, like okay, I'll just pull out my Bible, read a quick scripture. Okay, the game's starting again. Okay, get back into the game. But even then, like they can still feel like it's not enough.
Yeah, I get you.
You know,
I know. There was a reason, bro, why I started doing like a lot of videos of faith when I first became, you know, a disciple, and just a little last year too. I started doing it. I feel like that's helped me to be more in control of, like, if I am gonna be on social media a lot, what am I gonna do? To represent Christ in that way. So, bro, I always share a lot of stuff about Jesus. I always post a lot about Jesus, because if I'm going to be on social media, then let me try to at least glorify Christ or
Yeah.
try to bring people to Christ. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's why even with our podcast, bro, I post a lot. Like
Mm-hmm.
I post Monday through, well, actually 7 days a week. I
Yeah, we
always
try.
make
We
sure,
try to post every day.
I make sure there's a post every time because
Yeah.
yeah, bro, I'm addicted to social media, but that's just being real.
Yeah. For sure.
I'm not gonna just sugarcoat it. But if I'm gonna be addicted to social media, at least I can do this
Mm-hmm.
podcast and try to make sure it gets.
You know, and that's the thing too. Like, I would say that if you're doing it for God, like, I wouldn't necessarily call it an addiction.
Yeah.
You know, I think that to me, the definition of an addiction is having a habit that's bad for you.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, that could literally be anything though. Like, again, like when I was playing guitar 5 hours a day, that was my addiction. That was my drug. You know, I wanted to play guitar 5 hours a day instead of spending time with God.
Yeah.
But I think if you're doing that with God, it's not an addiction. You're spending time with God. There's nothing bad about that.
Yeah.
Because you get into like the whole, like, the way I see it, like you're making something else your idol. If you're spending that much time, if you're addicted to it, it's literally your idol. And it's funny because, so I don't know if I ever told you this, but when I was like 15, they let me preach on a Sunday. And I did it on a Master Puppets by Metallica. And so I don't know if you know, but that song is actually based off drug addiction. And so I kind of compared it to how when we let Satan kind of be our master, like everything just becomes an addiction, right? We're not giving God the opportunity to be our master. So we're giving the enemy the opportunity to be our master. And I think that's all it is. You know, like addiction is just giving Satan the ability to be your master. That's literally what addiction is, I think.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that just went back to social media. Like for me, I think it absolutely affects my faith. Honestly, if I'm being real, I think when it first started to do that, not really affecting my faith, but just like my morals. You know, like when I was younger, I literally got caught like liking pictures of girls. You know, like people from church were like, "Hey, like I noticed you like this," and I was like, "Oh, well, you know, okay, I probably shouldn't be doing that." Which I knew that, but like, it's temptation.
Yeah.
You know, like everything is literally a temptation when it comes to social media. And just kind of like you said, okay, if I'm going to be on social media, like how can I use that to glorify God? But even lately for me, it's like, I think the biggest thing is, it sucks that at first I kind of liked it, but now it kind of scares me. And it makes me like kind of question my faith is like conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
You know, so before I was like, man, like all this stuff is like really cool. Just to think about it and dive into it and trying to figure it out. But then like when you get into like the demonic conspiracy theories, like stuff about the end of the world, I'm like, man, like where's God in all this?
Yeah.
You know, like we shouldn't be asking ourselves that. At least with that kind of, those kind of stuff, you know, like when it comes to like theories about the end of the world or stuff like that, like do not question where God is in that. Because as much as for me, like what would scare me, I guess, is like seeing videos on like when the world's gonna end. Like, dude, okay, you literally know the Bible says nobody knows when the world's gonna end.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you letting that affect your faith? That's just social media, dude.
Yeah.
It sucks because like social media can be used for so many good things, but like there's so many bad things out there too.
Yeah.
You know, so I think for me, yeah, it absolutely can affect my faith. I think that anybody who says that it doesn't, you're either lying or you're super, super strong. You know,
Yeah.
like I think it's really hard. And like I commend the people that don't even have social media. You know, I think they save themselves from like just falling into temptation, falling into sin, falling into just false advertising, you know, because even then, like, you know, I feel bad for women, dude. Like, you know, on social media, like a lot of these girls see women that like are prettier than them or whatever. And like, I think that can affect their faith too. And even for us guys, like I'm not the most fit, you know, like seeing guys who are like super buff, man, like kind of wish I looked like that sometimes, you know, but like it's not what it's about.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I think we just need to be really careful with social media. I think the biggest thing I take away, kind of what you said, if I'm going to be on social media like that, if I'm addicted to it, just like Jacob said, how are we using it to glorify God? You know, I think
exactly.
that's a huge thing.
I think that just goes with anything, honestly.
Yeah.
But definitely social media because it really, I mean, it starts with the phone, honestly. I think the phone's the biggest distraction in our lives, 100%. I catch myself like literally picking up my phone and just putting it back in my pocket, and because we have a dopamine rush of just always wanting to check our phone or always wanting to be on our phone. And there's times where, bro, I'm literally doing something important and I'm just, you know, I'm
On the
like,
phone,
wait,
yeah.
where am I right now?
Do you think that texting could be a form of social media?
I think it could definitely affect your face still.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like it's kind of when you said like we get a dopamine rush from looking at our phone, like especially like when you get a text from somebody you like. It's like,
Yeah.
oh man, I can't wait for that next text from them. And, like,
Yeah.
that's distracting you.
Mm.
And
And especially like when you do get the text, you will literally push everything aside
Drop everything at that moment, text them back.
and just be like,
yeah.
and then people's like, "Hey, bro, Jacob, huh?
Literally.
What?
Even now, like when my wife texts me, like, I still get like butterflies. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
but like I'm at work, bro. Like,
Yeah.
there's other things to worry about, but like it's such a distraction. You're right. The phone's absolutely a distraction.
Yeah, I've seen it firsthand. I'm like, I have to work on this because I'll literally be on my phone. I'll text, and my boy from work is just talking to me, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, and then as soon as I'm done, I hear, bro's not even listening to me, bro.
Huh.
And I was like, what?
What?
I was like, what? He's like, bro, you always do this. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Sorry.
dang, that's not a good
It's
trait.
not. It's really not.
That's not a good thing to have.
Yeah.
So I definitely have to work on that for sure. But I think for people who are trying to come to Christ, social media, they see so many bad things,
Mhm.
right? So they're seeing videos of. I see posts, bro, where it'll have like a little caption on the picture thing. Like those pictures you kind of share. It's like Psalm.
Yeah.
They'll
yeah.
have a scripture.
The scriptures, yeah.
But with them, the things that they repost, it's like total opposite of like wanting to get drunk
Mhm.
or wanting to fight somebody
Yeah.
or it's very egotistic post.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, stop trying to like
Who are you trying to impress?
stop
bro?
trying to glaze yourself, bro.
Yeah.
You're not like, bro, God should be the one that you should be prioritizing. I'm not gonna say glazing because that's just weird.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna say glazing, but I think we need to change these posts to like, what is your explore page looking like?
Exactly.
And I had to check my explore page. Like,
Yep.
what is my explore page?
Yep.
And I would see sometimes girls, but I'm like, but I'm not liking pictures of girls,
Exactly.
right? But it's because of what I used to, like watch back then.
Yeah.
I would like pictures of girls and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And bro, you can put not interested in these, and
It'll still come up, bro.
still pop up.
Like, dang, dude. Like,
It's so annoying, bro. And
Or
I'm
like, what gets me?
yeah.
Like, I need to unfollow some of these meme pages, but like, there'll be a meme page that literally just posts like funny memes, right? But every now and then they'll have like a paid post of like some girl in a bikini.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like I'm not following this page for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm not, like my mom's around. I'm like, okay, bro, like
Yeah, no,
not
I
like bad.
no, I
You know what I mean? Like,
get it.
gotta unfollow his page now, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
but I'm telling you, I see as soon as I see something, I'm like, bro, why? Like,
Literally.
why? Like, it's like you're trying to want to like tempt me, bro.
you're trying to get me in trouble.
I'm not doing that, bro.
Yeah.
So I always put not interested, and then right now my For You page looks like football, and like, but then you'll just see that one occasional post of a girl. I'm like,
Why? Stop.
bro, I'm not even liking these things, bro.
I know that was my thing too. Like I'm still trying to just change the algorithm because, like you said, like because I used to like stuff like that, it'll still come up.
Yeah.
So like right now, like kind of like you said, mine is always it's Pokemon stuff, like metal music stuff, and then like every now and then there's like a girl in between. I'm like, dude, I don't even like this stuff. Like you said, why is it still there? And so I'll just, or like scriptures, I'll just like look for the scriptures. I'll just like them. I'll read them and I like them. Okay, like let me refresh to make sure like nothing else comes up.
Yeah.
But, like then next day I'm like, okay, like it's there again.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I remember seeing like some of the posts that these girls try to get these guys on, bro.
Yeah.
I used to like it, and now I'm just like, what is that, bro? It's cringe. You
Like
know?
for what?
And I can't believe I was into
Doing
like
that.
looking at that,
Yeah.
you know?
Exactly.
And hold on, guys. There's people like walking around and stuff,
Forgot to
but
close the door.
they're just like staring at us while we're doing our podcast.
Well,
Sorry, guys. Hey, at least it's a chill episode.
yeah,
so,
it's a
you
chill
know.
episode. It's not a big deal.
So,
Let me close the door real quick.
yeah, but I think for us, bro, I've always been kind of, I lost my train of thought, honestly, with all that stuff. I know we're talking about social media, so, we're talking about the algorithm, bro. And I see memes about the algorithms a lot.
Yeah, literally.
He was like, when you try to like change your algorithm, and then it just shows somebody like,
Then it's more. Like, wait a minute.
but yeah, bro, I try to change the algorithm so much, bro, and it just. But I feel the enemy just works so good in social media, bro.
Yeah, dude. Even going back to that, like I don't use TikTok much, but so when my journey with anxiety started, I tried to just follow a lot of anxiety pages. Like for my whole reasoning was like, okay, the more I understand it, the more like I hear stories, maybe I'll feel better. And it would work, excuse me. But like every now and then I'll get a post where it's like, oh, my doctor told me it was anxiety, but like 2 years later I got diagnosed with a heart disease. And I'm like, that's me. I'm like, but then like that would just make my anxiety worse.
Yeah.
You know, it would just make my mind spiral. I'm okay. Like I even talked to my therapist about it. He was like, well, don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but like when it comes up, it's like I was even talking about it with somebody's mom the other day because she has anxiety too. And it's like, dude, like you know you're not supposed I shouldn't watch that because it's not gonna help my mental health. But like when you get to it, like I have to watch it. But why though? Why am I so drawn to like I don't know. We were kind of saying how like it's the whole idea of like, okay, like I don't know what's wrong with me, and like what did this one video like will explain it, but then like okay, no, I feel even worse. But like we do it to ourselves, bro.
Oh yeah,
You know?
100%. Yeah, I was thinking of when you're sharing that. I was thinking of like when you get like a small symptom, you go on Google. I'm gonna die in 2 months.
Literally.
You know, 'cause Google will tell you like most worst outcome ever.
Like, dang, my back hurts. You Google it, you're probably having a heart attack. Like, like, dang it. Okay, whatever.
Well, I'm cooked.
Well, see you later, guys.
And then your anxiety levels are just like up
Yeah,
to
it's
the roof.
crazy,
Oh, I'm
dude.
cooked,
Like,
bro. GG's, guys. It's been a good
see you
run.
later. Yeah. God, take me now.
You know what I mean? But I think to even just to bounce off social media, I think when it can affect your faith, and hopefully it hasn't gotten to the point of this, but like I think if you let it affect you that bad, your faith can get extremely dry.
Oh yeah.
So kind of going off that, like what do we do when our faith feels dry? You know, I think we have two options when it really comes down to it. You either kind of just walk away or you try to fight to get it back.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that was my thing too, kind of going back to before when I was saying I had a few years where I just kind of let go of God's hand, if you will. I knew my faith was dry.
Yeah.
But I decided to, I don't know, I kind of made it worse. You know, not that I didn't have faith, but like I wasn't following my faith. You know, and I think that made it a lot more dry. And I say that because like I've said it for years. I've said it before too. Like it's so easy for me to thank God for everything He's given me, everything He's done for me. But like when I face an issue where real faith comes in, I don't do it myself. I'll take care of it. You know, so I think when your faith runs dry, it's so easy to just not have faith in God at all for any reason at all. You know, like I'm not about to have a kid, but if I was going to have a kid, you know, like, okay, I just need to have faith in God that the baby's going to come out healthy. My wife's pregnancy is going to be chill, that I can support if I have to, you know, financially, emotionally, you know, whatever it is. But if I try to take everything into my own hands, I'm probably just going to stress myself out, stress my wife out, stress the baby out, you know, like there's only so much you can do before like, okay, the way I see it, like when your faith runs dry, you are drying yourself out, like physically, mentally, emotionally, because, you know, in our belief system, at least, like everything just revolves around your faith in God.
Yeah.
You know, so if your faith is running dry, at least for me in my case, I think what really helped me come back to it and replenish my faith, not only my accident, but like just, so I've shared before, like I was in a pretty toxic relationship and that like definitely hindered my faith, you know, it made it run dry. But I think kind of rekindling, the relationship I had with my wife now, that for sure helped a lot, you know, but I think that just some practical ways I would say is like, if you really feel like your faith is running dry, if somebody's telling you, hey man, I'm kind of worried about your faith, just try to connect with people.
Oh yeah.
I think that's one of the best ways. Cause like if you know, they say that you become who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're surrounding yourself with people who are not in the faith, don't have faith, you're not going to have any faith. Right. You're kind of going to be, I don't care how strong you are. If you're not surrounding yourself with people who are believing in God or like trying to bring you up as a disciple, as a Christian, like you're going to lose that.
Yeah. I really Honestly, I love this question a lot because I've definitely been on the wrong side of this part. I know for me last year, yeah, my faith was super dry, bro. Super dry.
Yeah.
And it affected a lot, bro. Like my like the campus ministry and stuff. Bro, I was over here. I don't want to do no sermons.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be in no meetings. I was like, bro, this is boring, you know? I didn't want to get time with people. I was so distant, bro. I was like, I don't care about this anymore. And I started like overeating and gained like so much weight, bro, where I was like really obese.
Yeah.
And like relationships, everything, friendships just falling apart, bro.
Yeah.
And it takes, and I'm telling like you guys this because if you're not having a good, if your like faith is dry, your life's gonna fall apart.
Yeah.
100%. Because it's happened to me. Everything was just falling apart. But then you made a good point. Is like you need to connect with people.
Yeah.
Like it's super important to connect with people because I need to do that. Shout out my boy Vic from Long Beach, but man, he helped me a lot to build a routine, a strong routine, a baseline of my like what are my daily routines are at work. You know, I mean at home. You know, like
Yeah.
what am I setting myself where it's a non-negotiable what I need to do. Non-negotiable is reading your word,
Yeah.
praying to God, the gym, and you know whatever you got to do for your day. That was stuck to my baseline, and I started to see. And we used to have like coaching calls every Saturday, and it started to boost my faith level. I needed that spark, bro. I really did because I would be praying to God like, Lord, please, like, I just want that fire to ignite again in my heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
And after that, bro, I started doing that thing, and man, it boosted my faith a lot. And it's because it takes us to actually realize our faith is dry.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times we don't want to like accept it.
Yeah.
You know, I was being fake a lot of the times.
Yeah. No, I kind of relate to you too. Kind of going back to what I was saying, you know, when your faith runs dry, you dry yourself out. Like when you were saying you were overeating, gained weight, like same thing happened to me. Like during COVID, you know, my faith was really challenged. I started drinking more. I was eating a lot more too, dude. I don't know if you remember when I first moved back, but like I was a little chunky. I was hitting probably like 240, 250 in my weight. And yeah, I mean, like I said, when I started coming kind of, you know, strengthening my faith again, didn't drink as much. I was eating healthier. I lost like 25 pounds within like a few months, which was great. But even now, like I think prior to my accident, I kind of got into that again. Like I was drinking a little more. I was working out, but I was still drinking. I was kind of eating whatever I wanted. And believe it or not, like the stuff we do to our bodies like affects our minds too. So if we're not taking care of ourselves physically, like how are we going to take care of ourselves mentally and spiritually?
100%.
You know, some people can do it, some people can't. You know, at least for me, I don't think it was possible. You know, but ever since then, you know, like my accident, I started getting deeper into the Word. I haven't had alcohol in 6 months. Started eating better. I think, dude, before my accident, like I said, I was working out, but I weighed like a good 220. I'm like 185 now. You know, so I've lost a lot of weight. But even like taking it back to spiritual aspect, like taking care of myself more physically, like I feel better. Therefore, my mind feels a little better. Therefore, I feel better spiritually.
Exactly.
You know,
it all starts with wanting to put God first.
Yeah.
Like putting Him in your routine first makes your life so much better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I don't ever want to go back to that.
Yeah, I can't.
Heck no, dude. I do not want to go through that again.
Being like, for me, it's not even like, it's so easy to get there to that point in your life, but like when you realize you're stuck, you're like, crap, bro. Like, what do I do now?
Yeah, because you'll tell yourself there'll be days where you're just like, all right, tomorrow I'm gonna read my Bible.
Right.
You don't end up reading the Bible.
Yeah,
because you're still stuck into that mindset, you know? And that's why it's super important, super important to have a routine.
Yeah, I was gonna say even for that, like just to have a goal that you hit every day, because like I think it takes 30 days to form a habit.
Yeah, it's like 30 days.
So I want to challenge you guys if you feel like your faith is running dry, you know, like challenge yourself to read a chapter of the Bible every day.
Yeah.
You know, like try to do it for 30 days. You're probably not going to do it every single day, but the fact that you start, it's a good start. Try to do it for 30 days. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things you realize it's like going to the gym. You know, like I used to go at like 3, 4 in the morning.
I remember.
People are like, dang, like how do you do that? Just do it, bro. Like,
Yeah.
just do it. No. But yeah, like it wasn't easy for me, but the fact that I continue to do it,
build healthy
habit.
habits.
Yeah.
Build the healthy habits, replace the bad habits.
exactly.
And I remember that actually. Like right now, I've just been really building a good habit of just going right after work.
Yeah.
Even if I'm tired, bro, I'm like, man, what else am I gonna do at 12 in the
Literally.
morning? You know, sleep. Like, yeah, I can
Yeah.
sleep, but sleeping's for the weak. No, I'm just kidding.
At least you're not doing drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, so
Like,
I just go to the gym, bro, and it's like, you know, emptier.
yeah.
So I get to.
That's
do
why I used to
my
love going in the
sets.
morning too, bro.
Yeah.
It's just me and like 4 other people in there. I'm like, man, I
Yeah.
can use whatever shit I want.
I could take
I'm
time.
chilling.
So I just feel, man, it's super important if your faith is really feeling dry. And like you said, definitely do that challenge of like, bro, read a chapter every day, but grab somebody who's willing to hold you accountable.
Yes.
That is the number one thing you need is someone to hold you accountable.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have any accountability, you're not going to have no thoughts of like, I mean,
It's going to be a lot harder.
Yeah, who's going to catch me if I don't
Yeah.
read one chapter?
Exactly.
You know,
Because
so-
you could just lie about it. You know what I mean?
I mean, you can lie to us, but I mean, you can't lie to God.
You
So,
can't lie to God. When that time comes, you know,
GG's.
GG's.
Yeah, so kind of going to even just off that, making connections and having somebody to keep you accountable. I guess my last question for this section of our podcast is, what do you think a strong faith-based friendship looks like?
Wow.
I think for me, so one of my best friends, Manny, I think it's crazy, man, because I've known him for 10 years now. Him and Angelina, his sister. When I first met him, he didn't go to church. He had faith, but he didn't go to church like that. Remember the first time I met him, he was actually scared of me. He thought I was going to beat him up because
My wife knew him from school, in high school, and like that was the first time I met him, like a year after they graduated or whatever. And
it's crazy, man. Like, it's one of those things where like we got really close because we both play guitar. So we hung out a couple times, jammed. Dude, it became one of those things where like his family, like that man is my brother. You know, his sister is my sister. His parents are my parents, you know, like, and they have helped me through so much.
Yeah.
You know, and like going back to what that looks like, dude, it's just keeping each other up.
Yeah.
You know, I think that when you're struggling, making sure that you have people that are really going to take care of you spiritually, making sure they keep you accountable for things that you say you're going to do, things you say you're not going to do. And even now, like, you know, when I was dating my wife, like we had a few like pretty big bumps, and his parents like really helped us through that. They still do, you know, but I think that, it's one of those things too, you got to be careful with, because like, I'll say, you know, honestly, some of my best friends are people that don't even go to church.
Yeah.
Right. But when it comes down to like my spiritual health, like those people aren't going to help me because they don't know how to feed me spiritually. They don't know how to fill that thirst that we thirst for God if I need that, you know? So I think that to have somebody that, or having a friendship that is truly faith-based, like just having somebody or even people that will truly take care of you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, their parents are amazing.
Yeah. They do a lot for the church,
Yeah,
man. It's crazy.
100%. I think for me, bro, my boy Riley, definitely. I barely knew this dude for like 2 or 3 years, but man, I mean, we ended up living together because obviously, you know, we had that brother's household. But bro, I remember just us getting stronger with our friendship and always like keeping each other accountable to the point where, well, you do everything together, you know, like it was amazing, bro. I mean, we probably roast each other like every single day, but if we're not roasting each other, bro, or like joking around too much, man, we like me and him have been through it so much, so like we know what it takes. And I think just from living each other, bro, when it always happens every year for me, whenever it's getting close to my mom's birthday, the day she passed her Christmas, bro, I always get into like a slump
Yeah.
every time. But I wouldn't be open about it. I would come home from, work, and I would try to tell myself like don't look like too sad, but he would catch it instantly, bro, and he's like, "What's going on with you?" And I'm like, "What?"
What's going on, brother?
And he's like, "What's going on with you?" I was like, "Nothing, bro." And he was like, "No, I know you. I know you."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Bruh," he's like, he's like, "It's around this time." And I was like, "You're feeling it, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And that is like a true like friend right there. I mean, he's my brother, bro, for real.
Yeah.
But that's a good, strong faith relationship because he's really the one to pick me up when I fall,
Absolutely.
And I think, but honestly, it's all God to have that friendship with him because I definitely need someone like that. And same thing with Joseph. Man, Joseph is another brother of mine too, bro. He was the first person I really like cried a lot to about my mom. I remember it was like my first retreat, bro. I was gonna get baptized that weekend, but I was hurting and I cried, and like he was there, So honestly, having him and Joseph, bro, like Riley and Joseph, bro, that's God. And they really show me what a strong faith friendship looks like because how they acted first.
Yeah.
How they treated me, and I was like, wow, bro, like that's what a true friendship is. This is the type of friendship that God has intended friendships to be.
Yeah.
And I truly am super, super grateful for that, bro. And honestly, a true strong faith relationship, friendship, it's really denying yourself a lot, denying yourself to try to encourage your brother or your sister, picking them up when they fall. You just kind of know when they're going through it, and also holding them accountable on things that they're struggling with. That is true friendship. That is the friendship that God has always intended it to be.
Yeah.
Not drinking together, not, who's having more like bodies, things like that. Like that's not true friendship. It might seem like it, because they're hyping you like, oh, bro, like I saw you, you had 2 females, this and that. It's like, bro, that's not friendship.
It's not.
Yes, they're gonna leave you as soon as once they find someone else that is gonna make them look better.
Gone.
You're gone.
Yeah.
100%. But the friendship, I've had brothers, bro, since middle school, and they don't ever like check up on me.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for like one.
Yeah.
Which is my boy Kyle, but none of them check up on me anymore. But Joseph and Riley, I met him freshman year. We didn't talk until after freshman year, till I came to the church.
Yeah.
Man, me and him like that.
Solid.
Riley, I barely met him a couple years ago. That's like another brother of mine.
Yeah.
But I've had my friends since middle school. They went through it when my mom passed. They seen everything, and yet, man, they haven't said what's up to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I could have done the same thing for them, but when they got more interest in other things,
Gone.
Yeah.
I think that's the part that sucks too, man. When you have a friend who like, especially with church, I think, like when they kind of abandon their faith, abandon you, it hurts that much more because at least for me, man, it was like, man, I wanted to see you in heaven so bad, bro.
oh yeah,
I had a roommate when I was living in Northridge. That boy was my brother, for sure. Like, I don't know if I've shared it before, but like my experience and with my roommates from the church down there, like, wasn't like they were cool guys, but like I think personally I just didn't really like the environment. Yeah. And so one of my roommates, we got stupid close, bro. And like we took care of each other for real. Like there was one morning where this boy overslept and he had a very important test to take. I was like, bro, you're waking up, you're drinking this coffee I just made you, and I'm taking you to school. Like that's the kind of friendship we had, right? Wow. And vice versa. If he knew I was in trouble, he took care of me. If I needed a couple $, he took care of me. But there's a whole bad situation that kind of went down, and friendship broke off.
Yeah.
So, like I said, he went to church, and like that boy was my brother for sure. And I think that it sucks because when you lose somebody like that close, man, especially like again, just somebody in the faith, it's like, dude, like. One, where did it go wrong? Two, I'm like, man, like I really wanted to see you in heaven, bro.
Yeah.
And not to say maybe I don't know, maybe I will see him in heaven. But I think that it was one of those things like, man, like I wish we would have been on good standing to like see you up there, you know, to recognize you up there.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's crazy because like even like you said, kind of going back to like putting in that effort. Like I've texted him a couple times after our whole situation went down, and never replied. You know, but like I'm not salty about it. I think with the situation that happened, he messed up, I messed up. You know, I apologize, but he never did.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it sucks, dude. Like I think that when you find somebody who like can really take care of you spiritually, it just feels like your brother. You know, it's really hard to like lose that, or just give that up. You know, but kind of go back to the main point, like, you know, you're hearing our stories, you know, and like what these people look like, what it sounds like. You know, if you have people in your life that look like that, you are truly blessed.
Yeah.
You know, it is really rare to find somebody, let alone a family, that will really take care of you spiritually, that will 100%. Genuinely want to help you. You know, and if you don't have that, I encourage you to like just try to get close to somebody who really is healthy spiritually. You know, somebody who will keep you accountable, who will help you like feed the word to you. You know, like help you understand it more. Because the more you have people in your life that can genuinely take care of you in a spiritual manner, you yourself can do that for others, and you feel good about yourself for sure for that. You know?
Yeah. You talked about, you know, your like brother that kind of lost, bro. Mine wasn't. I mean, we weren't in the faith, but I can see what happens when you don't have a faith-based relationship. Because me and my boy, bro, gosh, this sucks. Me and him, we kind of like struggle together and everything. I mean, he's not a disciple or anything, but he's really my my brother, bro. Like we look like brothers too. Everybody thought we were brothers when they saw us. And after my mom passed, bro, I did some stuff, and I did him really dirty, like really dirty, like not something a friend would ever do. And I lied about it until he found out. And bro, I lost such a good like friendship with him. Yeah. And it sucked, bro, because he was really my brother, man. And you know, I did him so dirty, and I felt so terrible about it, honestly. Yeah. And it sucks because now I lost him, like, you know, I don't know if it's forever, but definitely, bro. I mean, we don't talk like that no more, like at all. I did see him one time at the gym, and, you know, I apologized and everything, but what's crazy, bro, is that what hurt him a lot was because my mom treated him like a son too. My mom would always call him mijo, all this stuff. Like if he was hungry, my mom would cook stuff for him. And what hurt him a lot, bro, is that when he first approached me about it, I said like, "Oh, I swear to God, on my mom's life, I never did that," but I did, and he got pissed by that. He got angry about that because I hurt him. Yeah, it's like, bro, your mom died, and you gonna lie about her already? And it was a reality check for me. I'm like, dang, bro. But that's an example of just when there's nobody in the friendship that is, you know, strong spiritually. Yeah. And I feel now, bro, if I was able to have that friendship with him, bro, man,
life changing.
I would have done things so much different. Yeah.
And another crazy thing too for me is like kind of going back to like I've lost a lot of like brothers and sisters that I consider family, you know, and like I think about the story with the lost son. You know, how he came back, wasted his life. Yeah. And his father still welcomed with open arms. Like my boy that I was just talking about, if he were to text me right now, hey bro, let's meet up. Let's talk. Yeah. I still love him. You know, I still love a lot of these people that I've lost. But I think that just goes to show you that like when you base your friendships off faith, so much more good can come out of it than bad. Yeah. Because kind of like you said with your friend that when you guys weren't in the faith, like you lost that. You know, but I think that even now, you know, I'd hope you feel the same way. If you were to text you right now,
I'd
probably say the same thing. Hey, bro, let's meet up. Let's hang out real quick.
I 100% would.
You know, but if we were in the world, man, forget that boy. Yeah. It's not for me anyways.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but I think, you know, think about that scripture where it says, as iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. You know, like that's what we're meant to do. To lift each other up, sharpen one another. To be not perfect, but as close as we can to be, you know.
100%.
But yeah, guys, that got deep real quick.
Yeah, it did.
I hope you guys like this episode. Again, this is our section called Kingdom in the Chaos. Yeah, I hope you really just listened to what we had to say, you know, taking a break from the lesson and just getting practical into our everyday lives and just stories that we share. You know, Jacob, you have any closing thoughts?
Yeah, honestly, what we talked about today, yeah, we were laughing and stuff, but it's super important to always, how important it is for always to bring the kingdom into the chaos, into the world. I mean, we just shared stories of times when we didn't, you know, times that we failed at that.
Yeah.
And we do this because we don't want that to happen to you.
Yeah.
Learn from our experiences. We're not trying to sell a story, man. This is literally real life
real
moments that experience, like we experienced. And there's a lot of things I would have done differently, but I know that's not who God is. God worries about who I'm going to be now.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to challenge myself, too, to when I'm with company, I should not be on my phone.
Yeah.
I need to be in the presence because it's showing respect to them. It's showing that I value their presence. I value their friendship. And that's something I'm going to work on myself, honestly.
Absolutely.
Just from this conversation.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think me too. Like, I think that I think I could have more faith-based friendship. I think I've kind of limited myself to like people that I know, people that I trust. But like, there's other people here. I mean, my thing is like, what if my friendship could change somebody else's life?
Yeah.
You know, so I think that I could work on that as well. You know, I'm a pretty social person, even though I don't like people. But
Yeah.
you never know. Like even with this, man, like I'm hoping, you know, we're hoping that this changes your life, whoever's watching. You know, so I think that's something I could definitely work on.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We will be continuing our series in the next episode from Phantom Follower. I think we have 2 more episodes before we start a new series. So stay tuned. We'll see you next time.